Frazier.
Rebecca a hand too. Great job for this whole program. You know, she's the one that manages this. She put all of this together. Gave us a chance to come up here to Battle Creek and lose some money. I don't know how many people gamble. Did you have a chance to do anything with the crap tables or anything like that? No, we're accountants. We do not do those things. I've only looked at a crap table more than once, and I've lost money. But anyway, let's see, that works. As Rebecca said, my name is Greg Frazier, and we're going to spend some time talking about digital currency, electronic money. And like my colleagues here, I'm a certified public accountant and a Microsoft partner. And I develop line of business solutions for small and medium-sized businesses. And I've done this for more than 25 years. I'm a sole practitioner, just like many of you. And I kill to eat, just like many of you. If I don't work, I don't eat. So in this IT world for the last 25 years, as a CPA, it's given me an interesting insight into the impact of IT on our profession and what's happening. And one of the things that's happening here is this evolution of electronic money and how that's coming about, digital currency. And in many ways, it's been so subtle that it's almost invisible, but we're going to talk about that today, where it's at and where things are going. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, which is something that's on the horizon that I think is something pretty exciting. But that's just one of the components in this whole notion of electronic money. We're also going to talk about the major players in this world of electronic money. But before we get to that, I want to spend some time talking about where we used to be, because that's very critical in having an appreciation for where things are right now. How many people know what these are? I've ever seen them before. How many people in here are 30 years or younger than that? You may not even know what these are. But most of us know what these are. Who can tell me what these are? Anybody? Cash registers. Cash registers. And when I was a kid, like 7 years old, I used to see a lot of these cash registers in the stores that I would go to as a kid. And I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Now don't hold that against me. You know, I'm a Buckeye growing up, and I've been here. Like I'm married to a Michigander for 30 plus years. I'm a Michigander now. But in Cincinnati, Ohio, I used to see a lot of these cash registers in what they call pony kegs. How many people know what a pony keg is? Nobody knows what a pony keg is. What's a pony keg? And beer, and most Michiganders say that, and then probably throughout the country, except for Cincinnati, Ohio. That's what they'll call a pony keg. In Cincinnati, Ohio, the pony kegs are your party stores. So as a kid, except it's a pony keg would be the equivalent of a party store or any store where a merchant sells products or services, but in this case products, goods, unique to that neighborhood. And Cincinnati being a German town, strong German background town, you would have a lot of the merchants that would sell unique dishes like hot dill pickles in these large jars. And also pickled pig feet, pickled pig ears. Anybody ever heard of that? Yeah. That's right. They used to sell that. And as a kid, little barefoot kid, I'd go into one of these stores with 50 cents. I could take that 50 cents and hand it to the merchant. He would take these thongs out and reach into one of those pickle jars and pull out pickled pig feet. Now some of you might say, that sounds pretty gross. Actually, I mean, it was tasty. He'd pull that out, and he would put it into something called, how many people remember the term wax paper? Yeah, wax paper. I know, bear with me 30-year-olds, I know you never heard of that. But he put that in the wax paper. I'd hand him the 50 cents. He'd hand me my pickled pig foot, and that right there was an arm's length exchange between a consumer and the merchant. And that arm's length exchange, a big part of that was the cash registers, because that's where we would put the money, and I'd walk out there being a happy consumer. Here's the question. I'm going to skip over these because we're talking about it now. What's changed? What in our environment has changed? Some of it's obvious, right? If you look at this right here, if you look at the lower, I guess that would be your right, lower right corner, you see that the technology's obviously changed. But what else has changed? What else is behind that modern day point of sale, the modern day cash register? I almost gave it away. That modern day cash register. Well, for one thing, everything is in the cloud. And if you're like me, like a practitioner that deals with small businesses, medium-sized businesses, your clients are moving more and more to the cloud. So behind that point of sale system, let me make sure I point this right. There's a laser. Yeah, behind that point of sale system, you have a whole cloud infrastructure. That's one of the things that's changed. And we agree with that. The technology has changed, and now everything is in the cloud. There's something else, and here's an idea just to give you an appreciation for just the impact of how everything is in the cloud. So here we're talking about, as opposed to the merchant that had the jars full of different goodies for kids like me growing up in Cincinnati, you now have, and everything was in that cash register, you now have all of this other activity that's in the cloud. Like right here, this is a popular product called ShopKeep, based out of a company in New York. They sell a point-of-sale system that's totally in the cloud. That's what that is right there. And that ShopKeep system, it integrates with other nodes now that are in the cloud with popular names. Like, of course, everybody does their banking online now. A lot of people know about banking online, like Chase Bank. How many people have heard of QuickBooks Online? Who hasn't heard of QuickBooks Online? And QuickBooks has competitors now that are online, much like Xero and some of the other competitors. And so you even with ADP now, which is your payroll, in effect, the merchants today, one of the big changes is that everything is up in the cloud. But what made that possible? Because you see, when cash was king, when it was just that one consumer and that one merchant making an exchange of cash, this wouldn't have been possible. What's the other thing that made it possible for all of this to happen in the cloud and that led to digital currency? And we'll just get to it. I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with, it's actually preceded debit cards and credit cards. The hint is this: Diners Club. What was unique about Diners Club? They were kind of the first major company that hit the ground running with this concept that preceded debit cards and credit cards. The term is called charge cards. Remember Diners Club? Founded by Schneider and McNamara, and they popularized that whole notion of charge cards, which is still very popular today by way of the use of a major industry, a major player in this industry, which is American Express. What changed is, am I still on?
No, something happened.
Hold on one second. Testing.
No.
Nothing?
You're probably loud.
You think I'm loud? This is my wife, incidentally. She thinks I'm loud enough.
She would know, wouldn't she?
Just got this out of the cleaners. All right. Can you hear me okay without the mic? Until they fix that, I'll just, oh, Rebecca's back. Yeah, Rebecca, the sound went out for some reason.
All right.
What's changed is you now have intermediaries. Actually, what has changed is the banking industry is now a major player for all of those merchants all of those small businesses that would have been our clients back in the 50s and 60s, now there are intermediaries involved. It used to be when cash was king, it was just a matter of us as accountants going to our clients, and then we would assist them with setting up systems that were about supporting and processing and recording cash. And all that's changed because everything is up in the cloud. And you have, for lack of a better term, the banks are now intermediaries in this process because of the debit cards and credit cards. Can everybody hear me okay over there?